Coming up in this episode, you're going to learn a little bit about the background of me, Adam Reiman, the director of law firm growth for LegalSoft, how I got my start in the legal industry, how I ended up here, and what my ultimate goals and passions are helping law firms grow.
Welcome everyone to LegalSoft Podcast. I'm so excited today. We have Adam Reiman, one of our key team members here at LegalSoft. He has a combined of like 20 plus years of experience working with law firms and lawyers, consulted over probably 3,000 to 4,000 different attorneys, spoke in front of dozens and dozens of lawyers, and actually a very funny story about how Adam and I have actually first met that we'll dive into. Adam, so nice to have you.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be a member of the team, and really look forward to talking to you guys today.
Yes, no, of course. I mean, I don't even think you remember, but I think it was summer of 2018. It was my first actual ever legal conference or seminar, and it was one of the Rainmaker Institute's events where you guys were talking about intake and all these different things. And actually, one of the firms that you guys audited before we came, and you guys called and talked to the intake staff, and you guys said this firm is messed up, was actually the firm that I was working at.
No way. Yeah. Were you at that event?
I was at that event. I was at the Rainmaker event.
In Marina Del Rey?
Marina Del Rey.
No way.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And so,
what a great story.
Yep. And you guys were pitching the software with the lead management, all that stuff.
Yeah. We did a customized software for law firms for intake and lead conversion.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that was the first time we met.
That's awesome.
And then you started popping up a lot of different places within LegalSoft and legal space, and everyone kept saying Adam Reiman, Adam Reiman, Adam Reiman. You somehow know almost half of our client base. Please tell us a little bit about how you got started, how you got involved in legal.
Sure. So it's kind of a weird story, but I was a national director for a large office supply company. Everybody would know the name if I mentioned them. And I got a random LinkedIn invite from a guy who was the CEO of a company called the Rainmaker Institute in 2011-ish. And there was something he saw on my LinkedIn profile that he was interested in. I had spent a lot of time, I'm married to a lawyer, so that's part of the equation. The other part is I spent a lot of time cold calling law firms and getting kicked out of big buildings in Phoenix and taking sales reps out onto the road and working in law firms. So there was something unique about my background that he really liked. Probably the fact that I had been rejected by so many law firms through the years. And so he said, let's meet for breakfast on a Sunday and I'll just tell you what I'm thinking. And next thing you know, a relationship was formed and a job offer. And I was really excited to take on that opportunity back in, it was late 2011.
Yep. So, we're glad that happened. And then how long were you at Rainmaker for? What skills did you harness? What happened there?
Yeah. So at Rainmaker, I was fortunate that the same person, the founder of the company who hired me and who I reported directly to, the great thing about that project was not only did I get to start the sales team from scratch and create KPIs and all of those things and hire and train and develop people, but I also was part of the on-site consulting team where we would go out on the road for 3 or 4 days at a time, go into a law firm, look at people, processes, software, right? Spend 3 days interviewing all the staff, and then we would go back to our Phoenix office and write up a nice report. And several weeks later, we'd go back in and we'd report on our findings. And so it was at that juncture that I got to just spend countless hours, not only in airplanes and on the road, but in law firms, all shapes and sizes, all over the country, learning about how they operate and how to help them make more money.
And then from lawyers.com, after Rainmaker, it was straight to lawyers.com?
So unfortunately, the owner of Rainmaker passed away in 2018. And I was, as part of the leadership team there were some decisions that were made by the founder. He was going to leave the company to his family, and the leadership team sort of left all within a 4 to 6 week time span when we knew we were unfortunately part of the future plan of the organization. Yeah. He didn't have kids or a wife to leave the company to. So he left it to his brother and sister who were not part of the legal industry. And at that time, it was for me to start looking at other opportunities. Yeah. So I ended up at lawyer.com. It was someone that had been at one of our live events. Nice. I reached out to the president of lawyer.com and said, hey, I'm going to be looking and here's what I propose. I think we should start a live event and coaching program at lawyer.com and see how far we can take it. And
so you were part of the start of lawyers.com consulting program.
Yeah, from scratch. There was no coaching program there at all. And so we put it down on paper, what we wanted it to look like, formulated it, came up with, again, a live event schedule because we were doing those workshops that you had talked about how we met. I created the workshops from scratch and then the coaching program from scratch.
So when you're talking about workshops and coaching programs for law firms, how many total years have you been doing that for?
So the first workshop that I ran and handled logistics for was in 2012. So it's over 100 two-day boot camps that I've done.
Nice.
And then I've worked in a little bit more than 200 law firms, also combined with the intake fundamentals course that I created that I've taught to over 1,200 law firms and counting.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And so what are the core things that you go in and develop within law firms, and how has that been going? What are the core things?
So every law firm's different, right? It's funny, you call a law firm owner and you ask them, tell me about your law firm. And they all say that they're different, right? Their first answer is, we're different. How are you different, right? Do you practice law? Okay, you're not different in that regard. Do you have a marketing, right? So every law firm thinks they're unique and special. And I get that, right? But the point is that the things that you learn by diving into a law firm, you analyze their people, their staff. Are they allocated properly? Are people happy to be there, right? Are they A, B, or C type employees, right? That you recommend that they hang on to. What are their processes? Are they documented? 95% of the time, law firms have no documented processes. As you well know, you worked in a law firm, right? So process documentation is a huge, you never find that anywhere. And then software. Are they using software to support all of this, right? And so I dive in and analyze those three key pieces and make recommendations based on those. It's pretty standardized for me. That's how I've been able to scale and grow our coaching business, right?
Yeah, and with that, the law firms who, whatever they say they're different, I think one thing that's also important is maybe they know that they're different, but their staff don't know, right? I think a lot of times, even if you go down to like their team, if they don't write it all out, train the staff on it, your intake person doesn't know you're different. And so whenever they say, oh, I got a call from this litigation attorney and they're going to take my case now, they have no idea what to say or how to say it because it has to be a coach from top down explaining the whole thing.
100%. And one of the things that's a great point. Like I like to call that their UCA, or unique competitive advantage. What makes you different from the rest of a very, very competitive and massive field of potential law firms? What separates you from the rest of that herd? And emphasize that in everything that you do.
So let's talk about kind of what a coaching and breakdown is that you do, right? So if viewers want to watch this and say, okay, great. If I talk to Adam, these are the things that we're going to go over, right? A lot of lawyers, they're very humble. Sometimes they're very humble. Sometimes maybe not. But sometimes you go, okay, what's different? Oh, I don't know, right? So I know you. So what is it you start with, and how do you build them up so that they actually step into the shoes of who they want to become?
Right. So it's great. It's a great question. The number one thing that you have to be as a coach is also let them know that you're their number one advocate, right? No one's going to love your baby more than you, but I'm going to try and come as close as I possibly can. So with that methodology in mind, you have to agree to be transparent on your side as the law firm owner. You have to be able and willing to peel back the curtains if you're going to fix things that are broken, right? And so I have to emphasize or make it super clear that it's a judgment-free zone, that I have seen. I can't say everything, but I've seen a lot in my career in law firms in action, and I do not pass judgment. If you say you're not using software, it's judgment-free. I'll make recommendations to help you do that. If you say that you do not have an intake script, no problem. We'll help you figure it all out. So the number one thing,
if you have no idea how much you're spending on ads,
if you have no idea if you have no idea what your marketing budget is, what your lead conversion percentage is, we'll help you figure all of that out. So we dive into the weeds, and then you come out and you feel, I think as a business owner, you would feel like, okay, this guy gets it, and I'm going to make these changes.
And I think that's why there was great synergy between the two companies, because we have our law firm tune-up that we call it. You have your process as well, and the combination is great. I know for us, we go through like 4 pages of, what's your marketing plan? Is it just to give X company $50,000 a month? Right. What if X company gets bought by that firm? Or what if this doesn't work or that doesn't work? Right. So going through your marketing plan, your software tech stack, your staff, your org charts, breaking down your scalability. You might have a vision of wanting to grow 10x and have the budget for it, but the infrastructure might not be there. Right. And so I think it's a great synergy on the side of actually being able to break down these firms, having seen broken firms, having seen well-established firms, and be able to coach firms up through the whole process.
Yeah, 100%. And it also always starts with, what was your revenue 2 years ago? What was your revenue last year? And what do you want your revenue to be this year, right? And oftentimes they'll say, well, we want to do more than we did the year before, right? That's not how you build, grow, and scale a business. It's like, what is that number, right? Exactly.
So let's talk about becoming a mastermind.
Yeah.
I know one of the big things we wanted for you to achieve and be a part of LegalSoft was, we have some masterminds. We needed to expand the masterminds. And so we brought you on to make you Adam Reiman, mastermind of a lot of things. But tell us kind of where you feel like Adam Reiman is a mastermind of these 5 places.
Yeah. So my background in my prior location, my prior employer, I ran the mastermind program for 4 years. And we had, again, law firm owners from all over the country. We got together 4 times a year in off-campus locations, right, to work on their business, not in their business. Nice. And so we typically had law firm owners with certain revenue stream, top-line revenue, and we would break them out by that sort of grouping, not by practice area, but simply by revenue. And it was amazing what happens in those settings. Primarily, every law firm owner gets in the hot seat at these events, and for 2 hours they do a presentation on their law firm. These were our goals. These were the opportunities. These were the things that the roadblocks. Right? They get to do a whole presentation on their firm's performance from the prior quarter.
Did you give them an outline?
We did. We provided it was a basic templated. Everyone had the same outline, and we would send that out several weeks in advance to the law firm owner.
That's cool. We should run one of those with our current clients. Whoever wants to join online digital.
Yeah, I mean nowadays, like these. So the fun thing about the mastermind and why it worked so well was, and some of you out there may attest to it, lawyers like to travel. They go to a lot of conferences, right? They want to get out of their office. And so it worked really, really well. Yeah. In a post-COVID world, you can run a mastermind via Zoom and get the same or similar results that we were getting with our live mastermind.
Yeah. And okay, cool. So tell us, what are the parts? What are the other areas of your masterminding? So one is kind of the revamp. Where's the current firm at? Where is it going?
Yep. What are your goals, and who else in the room has the number one benefit of a mastermind is being able to get in the room with a law firm owner who's running a $50 million law firm and help you get to where that law firm is by helping you avoid some of the speed bumps that the $50 million law firm encountered, right? That's where you get feedback, honest feedback from other like-minded law firm owners who have been where you want to be. So don't make this mistake, do this, right?
One of the things I tell people who say, what do you do? It's really, we help law firms grow what would take them usually 3 years to figure out on their own and hit their own potholes or whatever. We help them figure it all out within 6 months. Yeah. So instead of waiting 3 years to figure it all out, we'll help you figure it out in 6 months because we've done it, we've seen it. So what's it worth to you to get 3 years ahead in your first 6 months?
Right. That's a perfect description. It's how can you accelerate your growth? And you can accelerate. Look, you can grow over a period of time, but helping someone avoid those speed bumps can get you there in 6 months, no problem.
And if you haven't been there, you don't know what speed bumps are coming until you hit.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. So tell me this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like your role and your position has kind of changed and shaped kind of LegalSoft in the organization?
So I think I bring a couple things that I'm most proud of. I'm extraordinarily passionate.
This is your chance to be a non-humble.
It's really hard for me to say any of this, just to be clear. I think one of the things that I bring is that it's clear to people that are around me that I'm extraordinarily passionate about helping law firms grow, right? And that's energy, and that's something that no boss, manager, or anyone is ever going to be able to teach me or coach me how to be. It's just who I am. And so I'm really proud of that fact that I'm, that my energy is positive and people, they gravitate to that, right? And some people say, well, I want to be like, no, just have your own energy. Just be positive and upbeat and think about what we're doing here every day and why we're so excited. All I care about is helping businesses grow and have a fun time while we're doing it, right? So that to me is one thing that I bring here. And then the other thing that I bring, I think, is just a vast amount of experience, having worked in hundreds of law firms, having been kicked out of law firms, right? Having had to share painful news with law firm owners about, hey, it may be too late, right? And so that vast experience, and I'm just an open book. I want to share everything that I've got in my head, so that others can benefit from it.
Yeah, and I think one thing you also bring, I think LegalSoft has done a great job in growing and being there to support law firms grow on the service side. And we built a huge team that helps providing services and support to our clients. But you bring a certain level of legal professional legitimacy to the organization when you're talking to clients, building relationships with clients. I think myself, Hamid, and a few others have really been involved in law firms in the weeds of it and tore it out and threw it back in, and so have you.
Yes.
And so you really ground the organization when we're talking to clients, building up clients, building up new team members, and really reaching out and being available for clients. And I think into one of our last questions. How can people find you?
Yeah. So I'm.
Are you available?
I'm. It's a great question. I'm always available to anyone that needs help. I don't care if you call me night or day. Somebody was in my office just a little bit ago, and I was telling them that one of our incubator clients had called me. I was cooking dinner for my kids. It was like 7:00 one night, and my kids were screaming at me, and I had kept apologizing to the client. But that's what we do. That's the difference that we make. I've called law firm owners on Super Bowl Sunday, right? It's just like you're either in or you're out as far as this business goes. So yes, I'm easy to be you can reach me at adam@legalsoft.com. I'm always available and ready to chat, or my direct phone number is 602-828-4415. Call me, text me, email me. More than happy to talk.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Awesome.
So one thing I want to leave you all with today is, if you're not pursuing your leads until they die, buy, or unsubscribe, you're making a fatal mistake in your law firm. And if you want to hear more, click on the link below and I'll walk you through and offer your firm a complimentary secret shopper report card to show you exactly what's going on in your law firm.
Adam, it was so nice having you. Always a pleasure. I meant everything I said. You elevate the space. You help everyone. Law firms love working with you. And thank you everyone for listening. If you want more content like this, please do like and subscribe. I'll put out content like this as much as we can.